The Biden-Trump classified document debacle is great for the media, all media. It gives something for everyone to be angry about and makes virtually every politician look like a hypocrite. Scott Bolden's here, former chair of the D.C. Democratic Party. Scott, it's good to see you. I'm wondering if that there are not in the higher echelons of Democratic circles that you run in a little bit of wishful thinking and regret that they were perhaps not as hard on President Trump.
Well, I don't think there's any wishful thinking in that regard, because you look at what Donald Trump did and what documents he hid and documents he refused to turn over until there was a DOJ investigation. And you look at Biden, whenever they're classified documents that aren't secure, it's a problem. It needs to be investigated. That includes Biden. But if you look at what happened here with Biden, whether they want to argue, whether the Republicans want to argue political dirty tricks or not, is that these documents were found. They weren't intentionally hidden. They turned them over immediately to DOJ.
But the White House hid the White House hid that this existed from the general public. They weren't transparent about it.
We don't know that. It was disclosed within days.
No. We did know. We do. On November 2nd, they found him. And it wasn't disclosed through a leak until the middle of January, at which time the president said something, knowing there was a second set of documents that the general public didn't know about, and he didn't say anything about it then.
But what's important, I can't talk about when and how they disclosed, but what's important is once these documents were discovered, they were immediately turned over to DOJ or turned over to the National Archives. There was an internal investigation that was begun, and then they found more because that made them dig for more, and they turned them over, and they're cooperating. Well, Both cases have a special prosecutor, too. Right. So there's no hypocrisy here.
No, that's a good point, but we have to take everybody's word that they're cooperating. I go back to what was said after the Mar-a-Lago raid. The fact that they were in an unsecure place that is guarded with nothing more than a padlock or whatever security they had at a hotel is deeply alarming. If we just change that, the fact that they were in an unsecure place that is guarded with nothing more than a closed garage door next to a Corvette or whatever security they had at the hotel or the garage is deeply alarming. Would it read the same way from Adam Schiff?
Yeah, listen, of course it would, but look at the Trump circumstance. Well, I don't know what he's saying or not saying, but let me tell you, the operative facts in regard to Donald Trump make the Biden situation very different. This was after months and weeks of negotiations and resistance from Donald Trump. And then they had to go in and implement a search warrant. And then they found the documents unsecured in a private location. Those are really dispositive facts of criminal conduct or inappropriate conduct. You have none of that bad conduct on Biden's part. In fact, his lawyers turned over everything immediately and asked for an investigation.
If we are to believe everything the White House has told us, yes. But this White House already was not fully transparent. They didn't disclose to the American people that there was a second set of documents. Why should we believe they're being transparent and cooperative?
Leland, come on now. They disclosed a week later. That's more than enough time to disclose. I don't think you can create a conspiracy because there was a week. Well, Donald Trump didn't disclose for a year that he had these secure these unsecured documents, these classified documents, and then he resisted, and then he went. Hold on, he went to court to continue to have them as if they were trophy documents. This is a false comparative that the media is trying to develop, and it's going nowhere fast.
All right. Another line from Daniel Goldman. I'm not sure it's not going anywhere fast. This is likely criminal, what has happened at Mar-a-Lago, and you have to wonder why he was hiding these documents even when they were requested. This is likely what criminal what was happened in the garage and why he was hiding these documents. Now, you make a good point. They were not requested that we know of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they certainly weren't. But those are really dispositive facts. In fact, Biden's
forgive me, I don't go to law school, and I don't bill out nearly at what you do an hour. What does dispositive mean?
That means determinative, final. That means what the best facts on this and what you ought to focus on is the fact that Biden went looking for these documents with his lawyers, and when they discovered them at first at the think tank, they said, let's keep looking, because if we've got these and we don't know about it.
Yeah, the DOJ also said, let's keep looking. Okay, fair. No, I mean, look.
Well,
the facts
his lawyer said, let's keep looking too.
Yeah,
and
no,
so
the facts that are different.
It's a big difference.
No, it is. It's a big difference, and it's an important one. Scott, it's good to see you. As always, thank you, my friend.
Good seeing you, too.
Yes,
you
sir.
sound like a lawyer sometimes.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.